Howdy. Here's another Verma Splicer video because there's somebody in the comment section of the last one that is, how do I put this? A stuck-up piece of shit. I think that's pretty accurate, right? I'm fine. I am more than open to people suggesting different stuff or saying there's a better way to use something, but dear God, this guy is a stuck-up fucking piece of shit. Holy fuck. And then he goes and starts talking with some other guy on a video I've recommended and says that he politely suggested. Dude, I fucking can't. Politely, quotation marks, suggested we use something else. Politely, my ass. Either this guy is completely schizophrenic and forgot all of his medication, or he is a raging liar spewing shit out of his ass. Either way, he needs to seek mental help. So, the gist of this is he said that this was not how you build the weapon and that it was stupid, and then he was also insulting this other guy for suggesting something else, saying it was stupid and that you're only supposed to go all in on multi-shot and fire rate's irrelevance and yada yada yada. You get the gist, and that you don't need hunter munitions, you should just build flat slash because slash comes inherently on the weapon. I think you get the point. So the point of this video is to show him that he's fucking stupid, okay? So that's what we're gonna do. Now, Vigilante Supplies is here as well, so we get that extra chance. Not that it really matters, but he seemed upset that it wasn't shown. So let's set a few base rules for this, okay? For the Arcanes, I am not going to use the residual Arcanes. These right here, they suck ass unless you build into them. And asking that you put this on maxed and then a maxed version of it for your Warframe and then sit inside of a pool is retarded. I'm not going to do that, and 99% of the Warframe player base is not going to do that. So we are not going to be making use of these. Now, because we are going to be showing mostly slash builds, that means the rest of these are pretty worthless. Pax Bolt, headshot kills, that's never going to proc. Pax Seeker, that's never going to proc. Pax Sword, that's worthless. And Pax Charge, I hate. So, none of the Arcanes for kit guns are relevant here at all. Then, for the actual weapon Arcanes that aren't kit gun Arcanes, we are not going to be proccing Dexterity here. We cannot use Deadhead because it takes headshot kills. Primary Frostbite requires you apply Frost, cold procs from any source. Luckily, it is any source, but that does require that you need to either be running a Warframe that does consistent cold procs all the time, or you are applying cold with Diriga, which is way too restrictive just for using this Arcane on a weapon. So we will not be using this. If you have to build heavily into a weapon, you can build heavily into any weapon and it will absolutely decimate, okay? So if you have to do that, there's no point. We'll also not be using primary blights. Obviously, I don't have it. I had it at rank 5 and I sold it, but it doesn't matter because this is pretty much the same thing, except you need toxin status effects. And unlike Frostbite, it has to be applied from the gun itself. It cannot be applied from your companion or your Warframe. And then we would have to apply toxin on our weapon. We could not build viral. And that would be a yikes, since, you know, viral is great for slash. So that doesn't leave a whole lot of options. In other words, we're just going to be sticking with primary merciless here, okay? Now, we should be able to kill enough enemies to get a decent amount of procs on this to show it off, but that is why we are using merciless for anybody that's wondering, because it is the only practical Arcane to be using here that will realistically be able to keep some level of stacks on without having to make our whole build revolve around it. Anyways, let's look at the two different versions of the Verma Splicer. I made a new Verma Splicer with different parts because he was not happy with the parts we chose. So Tremor gives the highest damage, but it gives the lowest beam range, okay? And then Stitch is here just because I like it as a loader and gives us good crits. Now, I believe he suggested Steady Slam. or something, because it gave more range, but that one actually states that it gives lower beam range. Probably it's likely still more than Tremor. So I actually went with Brash, Macrothymoid, and Verma Splicer. Brash is slightly lower damage, but it has significantly higher beam range. So it's pretty much doing the same thing. It's giving us higher beam range for the sacrifice of just a little bit of damage. Now, if we compare it to this one, my other Verma Splicer, this has the magazine is irrelevant. Don't worry about that. It has 4% lower crit chance, a 0.1 lower crit multiplier, 7% higher status, and 8 lower total damage. Now, even though we give up damage because the status stats and shit are from our magazine, I believe, the damage doesn't matter too much, and we get like 2-3 times the beam range. And really, with how much damage the guy is claiming his build is supposed to be doing, that this lower damage should be completely irrelevant, since he says, well, before he deleted his comments, probably because he told the other YouTuber that he was polite and didn't want anyone to go back and see that he was a fucking jackass. The lower damage is irrelevant, and he said, oh, you can kill stuff so fast you can't even show it in the simulacrum. Again, can't go back and look at that because he wanted to delete all his comments so you couldn't see how much of a piece of shit he is. So this should be close enough, and it isn't eat my ass. Now, this is the gist of the build that he wanted to run. No fire rates. Instead, we are going to be going for multi-shot here. We have primary merciless, vigilante supplies. Like I said, this arcane is irrelevant, and we are running unranked rhyme rounds and malignant force because if they are higher rank, we have far too high viral weighting. Fang fusillade so that we have higher slash weighting. I will show it with critical delay even though we lose fire rate because it gives us higher crit chance. And I mean, really, fire rate's irrelevant in that guy's eyes. So we are sitting at 84% crit chance, 4.4 crit multiplier, 58.8% status, and you know the rest is pretty obvious. Our slash weighting is almost exactly the same as our viral weighting. So right off the bat, this weapon, because he seems to think that, you know, the slash weighting is amazing on Verma Splicer, it's really not that great considering how high the toxin weighting is. Toxin weighting at base is already still high, so we are overkilling on viral procs very, very heavily. Now, for our Warframe, we have nothing that is affecting damage here. We have no companion. And our focus school, we are using Uneru, but actually here I'll switch to Vazarin so that nothing here is affecting our damage. This is purely the weapon. You'll be fighting level 175 Corrupted Heavy Gunners on Steel Path. So, obviously the first kill is not going to do much because we don't have our stacks built up, right? Or before we get the first kill, our damage is going to be absolutely horrendous. But that's how it is. That's what it's like with most weapons. So we're going to wait and then get our first kill. Now our damage is going to jump up tremendously since we got Gun CO, or at least comparatively speaking, it's going to jump up tremendously. Now we have both procs, and now we're starting to get all the procs for our other stuff. Since multi-shot, it helps a lot for the beams. We definitely want max galvanize, which we are at now. I'm going to empty the mag so I can build up as much merciless stacks as I possibly can here, since the merciless will be affecting our slash damage. There we go. Now we're going to reset the enemies with our stacks built up. Kill. Simulate. Now we go in. Look at this. All of our stacks are up. We'll be getting a headshot. Okay, that killed in about 2 seconds. It took 2 times for the slash to proc, okay? Shooting these guys, it does good damage, yes. I mean, obviously. It's still a very strong weapon. But is this doing as much as he seems to think it would, or at least in comparison to the other Verma Splicer? You'll see when I compare it in a second, right? I shoot the guys, it takes about 2 seconds of shooting, and that's when I'm getting headshots. Now let's go and switch. We are going to first, before I even, because this is better, this one, the other one, Verma Splicer, would be much better for a Hunter Mumu build because the higher crit chance and crit multiplier. But we will first show a Hunter Mumu build with this build with these parts on the Verma Splicer. So now we will switch to Hunter Mumu. Then we can put on a fully ranked Malignant Force, as well as Rhyme Rounds. And then we will be switching on Prime Shred instead of Vigilante Armaments. Alright, and that's all that we've changed here. So now all of our slash is going to be coming from Hunter Munitions, from our crits, and we don't even have as high a crit chance as we would on the other weapon. Now we will obviously have to build up our stacks again. Still kills very slow without any stacks. Again, that's pretty par for the course. I'm going to kill all of these enemies to get all of our stacks up. And then I'm going to reset them, and I'm going to show that the difference is nearly non-existent when it comes to the slash damage. It is damn near irrelevant. I mean, you can see it's already killing quite fast. Like, and there we go, 12 stacks. Now I'm going to come back here, pick ammo up, reload, reset the enemies. And now we are at max stacks, or at least for the most part. Wow, that was almost the exact same time to kill. Look at that. I can't even get my headshots consistently. About 2 seconds, only like 2 full ticks of slash going off. Who would have fucking thought? Oh me oh my. Look at that. It's killing almost the same exact speed. Now yes, we do go through ammo faster because we have higher fire rates. But that doesn't matter when we have a huge magazine with this anyways and the reload's not terrible. It doesn't really matter. And Shred also gives us punch through, meaning we can hit multiple enemies in a row in a group, giving us better AoE damage than if we did not have punch through on the weapon. And this is still with the status built version. The status crit hybrid will have even higher damage if we go to this, which has higher crit chance and crit multiplier. Oh yeah, and then in relevance to the beam range, because he did not like that we had this on, with Tremor and Verma Splicer, we can mark this enemy. First we'll start at 20 meters. I think the range is what, 15? Yes. 16? 16 meters or no, they got knocked back. Okay, yeah, about 15 meters of range. That's not that bad. I personally don't mind it, and I rarely feel the pain of having a low beam range. Whereas, let's say with Brash, mark this enemy because it's easier, right? Did I mark the right one? Yes, yes, yes. This is, I'm going to guess 25 meters? That's 25, so if we back up to like 27, 30, 31, here we go. Wait, no, 30. Alright, about 30 meters of range you get with this, as opposed to 15. It doubles your range, but you lose damage. I personally don't mind the low range, but you can run whatever you want. You don't have to run what people tell you. If you want more range, put on the thing that gives more range. If you want the most damage, just go with Tremor. It really doesn't matter almost at all. Now, let's go to this one with a Hunter Moo build. Same exact build, except this is with Tremor. The damage is so high that it honestly isn't going to matter against these guys. It's pretty irrelevant. But again, I don't care about the low beam range that much. It doesn't really matter to me. So just run whatever you like. And then after this, I'm going to go back and show the Corrosive build again, because you can actually run Deadhead with that and then get headshots because, well, you know, headshots will actually matter there. Oh, look at this! It's killing even faster. Quite good if you ask me. But nah, it doesn't, you know, we're just being suboptimal out here, right? Now we're going to get all of our stacks up again. There we go, run back, grab the ammo, reload, reset the enemies, and go back. Now, look at that. Slightly faster than the other. That only took one major slash proc. Okay. Now we do this. Oh, look at that. Huge damage. You almost can't even tell the freaking difference between this and that guy's build, because that guy is schizophrenic. I think you get the gist of this. If you run the weapon base slash, sure. it's gonna still have good damage. This is it. From what I can tell, I'd say this is even better damage. Or even if it was slightly less, you know what you're giving up by going full status procs? You are giving up your flat damage, which means armor-stripped enemies are going to die much slower because they will only take most of their damage from status procs. And that also means any enemy that is resilient to status is pretty much invincible. Like if I take the status build into Void Cascade, Thrax enemies are not going to fucking die ever to that shit. Okay, flat damage is way better against that. So being able to have high crit with good base damage and amazing slash procs, that's much more versatile than just running all-in status. Now, that doesn't mean all status weapons are bad. Like Phantasma is still very strong. But if I can have both, why the fuck would I only go with one? It makes no sense. And if you want, you can build into this, like, and put primary frostbite on as your arcane instead, and then try proccing frost or cold with other shit. But at that point, there's a lot of other stuff you can do for other weapons as well, so what does it matter? Now, let's do this. But now we're going to go back into the Corrosive build again. So in this video, you can directly compare them. Since we'll be able to get headshots, Pack Seeker will actually proc, which gives us more damage. And we can run Deadhead, which is way easier to keep all the stacks on for more damage, and the 30% headshot multiplier is multiplicative. So that's more damage. Then we just have to switch the build. Literally, what, 1-2 mods, something like that. We put on High Voltage instead of Rhyme Rounds. And then instead of Hunter Moo, you can run whatever the fuck you want. I don't really think we need the more multi-shots. So let's say we want extra base damage from Guncio and the extra cold damage, which gives crit damage, and then which will give even more crit damage after Jade Shadows comes out. So aware, Rhyme Rounds, Cold Corrosive, headshot build here with Vigilante supplies on. Still nothing affecting our damage from any other source in our build, as per the usual. Shoot this guy, we're still going to need our rocks to build up all of our stacks from our arcanes and shits. I did not get a headshot there, unfortunate. I suck at the game, so, you know, aiming is difficult for your boy. Here we go. Alright, we are now at max stacks. This is without 2 green shards, by the way. Look, it kills even faster, and this is all flat damage, meaning against an enemy that is resistant to status effects, like status damage, I mean, as in a Thrax, because obviously Corrosive still affects Thrax. This will do significantly more damage. All of them are good builds. Run whatever the fuck you want. Oh my god, that guy, he was so uptight and hellbent on saying that it's his favorite weapon, so he knows exactly how to build it, right? Better than everybody else. What do you know? It doesn't fucking matter. So, if you're watching this and you don't know the context, don't worry about it. TLDR, dumbass motherfucker in the comments that thinks he's God was wrong. Because, well, you know, that's how it goes. So, for future reference, again, I love when people tell me to try different stuff or they suggest something that might be better. But when you're an absolute raging prick about it, get bent. I don't care what you say. You can go fuck off to somewhere else, alright? Nobody cares. Nobody loves you. And as I just showed, it really does not matter. At all. So, yeah. Verma Splicer, second video. Hopefully that guy remembers that schizo meds, he's got to take them, and that he stops being a fucking idiot. Now, if you enjoyed the video, well, I don't care. This isn't even made for that. I'm not even going to do the outro. That's it. That's the end of the video. Goodbye.